Hey folks, hope you guys are having a great day. Let's go ahead and get into it. See what's up. Here we go. All right. Welcome to the Saturday show, I guess. Had a lot going on this week, so didn't really get to stream on Thursday. Just was not available at like midnight. That's how it goes sometimes. So hopefully you guys can see this and everything's working out okay. I actually forgot I changed some of my video settings. It looks like it's okay. It's giving me like a thing that's like your key frame frequencies are too short or something. I forgot I changed the video settings trying to record stuff at 6400 by 1080. So I do this sometimes. Get an itch to do something really wacky with a game. So I got Skyrim set up to play on all three of my monitors, which is actually not that hard. If you guys have a triple monitor setup, you can actually use NVIDIA Surround. Will like automatically do it, so pretty much any game will work. But because my monitors are not the same resolution, I have two 1080p monitors and my middle monitor is 2650 by 1080. So it's an ultra-wide monitor. I had to do a bunch of workarounds where I had a maximized window, borderless window, that took up the entire screen that you had to manually set the resolution to. And then you have to use a couple of other things like flawless widescreen to get the UI to shrink down to where it's usable. Because if you... with Skyrim, if it has in this case, it's a 53 by 9 aspect ratio. Wrap your head around that. 53 by 9. And the UI will stretch all the way out like it's zoomed in. So you'll be missing like huge portions of the UI. You won't be able to see anything that you're doing, which is a huge pain. So I have to use flawless widescreen to render the UI at 1080, 1920 by 1080, and then have it at the center of the screen, offset enough to where it's like in the middle, so you can actually do stuff. Because even flawless widescreen wants to render it over to the side because it's used to like ultra wide monitors, not ultra wide resolution. So I got that set up, got a bunch of mods set up. It's like playing the game for the first time, you get these things set up. Kind of like going back to like a graphics overhauled Morrowind, which I think is a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun to go back and play like the souped up Morrowind versions. I think they're quite a bit of fun. So this was good. Thanks for inspiring me to turn my screenplays into visual graphic novels. I'm eager to get started. Yeah, it's just something I was looking at. I haven't had any time this week because my mother-in-law died on Monday. And there's been a huge amount of fallout from that. My wife has to get power of attorney and stuff. It's a huge thing. Anyway, I haven't had time to really read any because I haven't had a whole lot of time, and the time that I've wanted to spend gaming, I'm like, I just want to be introverted and not deal with other people. So I've been playing Skyrim, which is a lot of fun to go back to. It is a good game. I mean, there's a reason it's very popular, and I think you really got to play. If you're going to play Elder Scrolls, you really shouldn't play it on a console. I guess unless maybe you're playing it on the Xbox platform because they have a lot more mod options, I guess. But you really should play it on PC. Because then you could do the triple monitor surround. It's very, you're really only looking at the middle part of the screen most of the time anyway. But it's like it fills up your peripherals. It's very immersive, is what I'll say. It's an extremely immersive experience to do that because you really, your whole vision, especially in a dark room, is just taken up by the scenery of the dungeon. I guess you could do that with VR as well, but. I don't know. I wanted to do it this way. You get an itch sometimes. You spend a bunch of time doing it. You spend like hours getting all the mods set up, and then there's this joy that happens when you are able to pop in there and like really see how good it looks and really see what it looks like. I think I posted a couple screenshots here and there if people want to see them. If you're like, well, there's a lot. This thing is ultra wide. Pretty fun. So I do think people would enjoy checking that out if you have a triple monitor setup. Oblivion works like right out of the box on triple monitors. Problem with Oblivion is that I don't know of any way. I'd have to like. I'm not aware of any mods that put the UI back in the center of the screen or scale the UI. So basically, you have your menus are on your left monitor. It's all your menus and your health. So if you want to see what your health is, like you got to look to the side to like see what your health is. And then all of the other stuff is on the right-hand monitor because it's just scaled to the outer limits of the display. So if you're on an ultra-wide monitor, that's no big deal. That's just a little wider. If you're on an ultra wide, it's a big deal because it's like, oh, what's this object called? You have to look over to your right to see what it's called. So you got to put your cursor on something and look, oh, that's what that is. Rather than having it right in the center. And then, or if you're doing like, if you're talking to someone, the dialogue options are over here, but the person's talking there, and then like your menu's over there. It's just a pain in the butt. So I have to see if there's a mod for that. If not, I don't know if I could create one that just renders the UI, or like sets rendering scale in the UI or something. Would you ever consider doing a VR stream in the future? I'd have to figure out how to get VR set up, like either do it on my phone or like there's workarounds to do it on a phone. And I actually have an extra ultra high res phone I could use, I guess. That's got enough resolution for VR. It's my old Google Pixel. But you have to use a lot of software workarounds to get that to work. It's easier to just have, say, an Oculus, but I don't want to pay for that. VR actually doesn't make me sick. Some people makes them sick. And actually, VR does not make me sick at all for whatever reason. But you know what does make me sick is trying to play shooters on a console. I have a pretty big TV. Big TVs are cheap now, so it's not that big a deal. But like, I don't know. I have a big TV. And on consoles, they narrow the field of view so that there's less to render, so that consoles can actually handle the software because consoles are underpowered compared to PC. So you have this narrow field of view, which just becomes nauseating on a large display. Whereas on a PC, on a PC, you can really, push up the field of view either with flawless widescreen or something else like that, and it makes it just a lot more pleasant. And VR, that's already there. They already have a super wide field of view in VR. That's why you need like a really high-end graphics card to use VR at all, because it actually is basically rendering a really large amount of game space, a lot of polygons. The wider the field of view is, the more you're having to render. Even if you're only rendering at a certain resolution, you're only pushing this many pixels. You're still your video card is still doing all these calculations for all these polygons and shading and all this stuff that's happening. So the wider the field of view is, the more intense it is on your system. And that's something you have to keep in mind. ModDB is a heaven when I want to go back to older games. I've been looking for Star Wars or Warhammer 40k mods. Yeah, it's a good tip. Oblivion's field of view is like 90. And the wider your resolution, the wider the field of view goes, too. Oblivion's field of view is actually really good. Whereas Skyrim's is like 65. It's pretty narrow on a console. But on the PC, you can crank it up. And I use flawless widescreen to crank it up even higher. And because it's on triple monitors, you actually don't have to crank it up that high, because it's the wider your resolution, the more it's going to push the field of view out anyway. Anyway. So yeah, I would consider doing a VR stream, but I don't have the equipment. I don't really have the equipment. PSVR might be an easy setup, but that's a lot of sacrifices. I do like that consoles are very plug and play, so you don't have to do what I did, which is spend hours trying to get Skyrim Special Edition to work, abandoning that, going back to OG Skyrim and setting that up, and figuring out which mods aren't going to work. And there's a lot of work to modding stuff, but there's a reward to it too. You get when you get it all working right, and it looks so much better than the original version. It's really cool. All right, let's play some Final Fantasy. Turn this down just a little bit. There we go. I haven't played this at all this week. What's up, Brian? So I still haven't done the first dungeon. I'm like way behind. And I've died a couple times. I've had a couple game overs, which is nice. It's nice to have game overs. And that sounds weird. People are like, game over? You know, that just means that the game isn't... The game's got some challenge to it. It's not holding your hand. So these early Final Fantasies, a lot of times you walk into an area that, you know, you're not strong enough for, and you get your butt kicked. And that's, to me, that's part of the fun. I kind of like that. Anyway, if you see a video go up later that's in 6400 by 1080 resolution on YouTube, you'll know what's up. All right, we're gonna try the first dungeon, I think. I love the music on this. By the way, let me show you something cool here. So, on this version of it, this is the PC version too. So if you get the PC version, it's got the same thing going on. You can go down here to config, and you can go to config 2. You could go to the orchestral version or the original music. You want that 8-bit music. Let's listen to 8-bit music for a while today. Yeah, Final Fantasy VI for SNES is probably... I think it's probably the best of what I would call, like, the classic or maybe retro versions of the games. 1 through 6. Probably 6 is the best. It's just the best iteration of all that stuff. Let's guard a couple times so we can get our job level up. This is the original battle music. The orchestral is very nice too, but it's cool to listen to the 8-bit because the 8-bit's got a lot of cool things going on it. Cursed copper. These guys hit super hard. It's like go in and out of the dungeon here. And maybe we get a game over. Maybe not. The ends are free at this point, so it's really not too difficult to just go back and save it and end real quick. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. 70 XP. So everyone got a level, which is good. Have to run out, go back to the ship, res our guy. These guys have, because the enemies like just around here only give you like 4 XP. So you'd be grinding a while. Just go in here. Bit music. Yeah, the ends don't cost anything right now. So. Yeah, I got killed by pocket change. Is there a chapel? Is this the chapel? I don't remember. To res my guy. Let's find out. Go in here. Okay. Is it gonna help me? Alright, so maybe not. This is maybe not the building. Since I got Game Pass for PC, I've been playing 12 Zodiac Age, my favorite modern Final Fantasy. That's probably my favorite modern one too. like it a lot. Okay. This is magic. Maybe there's no chapel here. That would kind of suck. Here's the well. Got the items out of the well. I think. Well, that was a pain. Yeah, how do I need a res Vox. Maybe I have to go to the other town. Yeah, I might have to go to the other town to res him. Making really bright orchestral music like this. Gotta stick to major keys. She's gonna tell us that she's not ready to go back. Okay, let's skip this cutscene. Lydia has left the party. Remember, that's the blacksmith. That is the blacksmith. No, we don't want to go in the mine because we got quad owned in the mine. Yeah, I'm not seeing like a chapel to res people. Maybe you have to go to the castle. I don't even remember. Yeah, I might have to do the castle. Or I might have to reload a save. Probably quicker to reload the save at this point, but oh well. Ah! As our resident mecha author, are you familiar with Front Mission series? I'm actually not familiar with them, but Brian might be. Can I res my guy? Is there a way to res a guy here at the castle? Bet you there's not. Bet you like I gotta go reload my save or something. Speaking of keys, just made an app that shows me all the chords in a key to build a progression. Okay. I know that instinctively, like it's like a music theory thing. I have music theory videos on this stuff. I don't know if I have a... I wanted to go back and make more because occasionally people like stumble by those and they're like, this is the best music theory video I've ever seen. It's like, I'm aware that like most people don't teach music theory well. So, kind of wanted to do more of those. I think I'm just going to reload the save. Like we'll just, we'll quit and restart the game, I guess. Show you the mighty collection here. Spent some time putting like all my PlayStation games on this thing. Yeah, I mean, basically, there's more chords to a key than just building off the scale, depending on how you want to look at it. Because if you're starting with the fundamental frequency, I have a video that talks about this. All the pitches for both the major and the minor key are in that fundamental. So when you're looking at a minor key, you're looking at a different choice of overtones versus the major key. So you can actually use both at the same time if you want in different ways. So you can borrow chords from other keys and they will work if you know what you're doing. No, this is a PS Vita running Adrenaline, which is a PSP front end. You can run PSP games natively on the Vita. And you can, if you hack your Vita, which of course I recommend you hack it if you have one. If you hack your Vita, you can get a plugin that will enable video out over USB, which is actually built into your PlayStation Vita. But even though it's a built-in feature, they didn't really, they didn't really enable it. So, like the PS Vita is like an amazing system where half the things the engineers put into it, they didn't actually enable. Yeah, let me see if I'll find a music theory playlist for you guys real quick. And it's gonna be down here somewhere. I'll give you the basic stuff. Here you go. So that will give you the intro going up through basically writing a melody and doing harmonic analysis. I need to do one that'll at least cover homophony. Homophony is writing melodies and chords at the same time. I just didn't get around to it because I was recording this basically in downtime when I was a teacher. And so when I stopped doing that, I just stopped doing the videos. I probably need to do them again. But I don't have like a whiteboard. I used like a whiteboard and stuff like that. All right, a skeleton. Let's see if we can kill the skeleton real quick. I think this is the same level of enemies in the mine. So maybe I should do the mine first. Yeah, these guys are ridiculous. It's hard to know where you're supposed to go first because these enemies are so ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, these guys are hitting so hard. I gotta get a couple level ups. Oh, he hit himself in the face. Here we go. Just gotta kill this mummy. Uh-oh, poison. He poisoned him. Ah, miss. Yay! We didn't die. If you stick to one key, it'll sound boring. Tell that to every composer ever. You can write in one key. Absolutely. I mean, Metallica wrote an entire album in E minor. People don't seem to get bored of that. Yeah, one key's not like a bad thing. You don't have to do like tons of different keys in one piece. In fact, you probably shouldn't, or it gets, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Because transitioning between keys, there's a lot of techniques to do it smoothly. Most of the time, when there's lots of keys, you're probably not even aware of it. Bach will move through like 4 different keys and you aren't really sure what he's doing. You're like, it just sounds cool. Alright. I'll go kill like one more enemy. See if we can get some more levels here. I'm not sure if we want to try the mine first. Maybe we go in the mine real quick. No, we can't do that because then we'll be one party member short. There's a lot of syncopation in Metallica's 80s stuff. I thought it was real funny. I think it was who was it? The guitar player from the Rolling Stones. Who am I thinking of? Keith Richards? Keith Richards is like, metal's got no syncopation. It's like, have you listened to heavy metal? I don't think you've listened to this genre to even say that. No one who listens to it would say there's no syncopation in metal. It's way overcomplicated with its syncopations. It's just proof that like a lot of these boomer musicians actually have no idea what they're talking about. See if we survive this. Like the only one who's hitting really hard is Mel. Mel's hitting like really hard. There we go. There we go. Got some lower levels. Magic. Let's stay at the inn again. I don't know like a better place to grind, so this is just what I'm doing here. Yeah, you can spend tons of time in one key. I mean, most people would probably not say like Renaissance music is boring to listen to, and they didn't even have the concept of keys. There was no chromatic alterations whatsoever. Other than a B flat. Occasionally you'd have a B flat to avoid a tritone. That's the only chromatic alterations. Everything else would be literally in the key of C. As far as you would understand it in like modern music theory. It's actually modal, so that doesn't make sense, but because modal work and the music that the church came out with, say prior to the Baroque period, is just different in its approach to theory. But yeah, if you listen to music by, say, Jacobus Obrecht, Palestrina, it's all in one key. C major. Doesn't get old. It's very interesting. Another thing you could probably do in here is just like run from every encounter. All right, coins. Let's see if I can beat the coins this time. Just hit so hard. All right. Oh, there's 3 sets of coins. We're gonna die. These cursed coins are gonna kill us. Joan d'Arc even had an enemy with it. Cool. Yeah, that victory theme in Final Fantasy is really something else here. You get a job level here. There we go. All right. Yay, Vox gains a level. Lydia gains a level. Job level increased. Sweet. Have you tried the Korg DSN 12 Music Maker app on the 3DS? I have not. I haven't even thought about... I saw that there was a Korg app on the Nintendo Switch, but I haven't tried it out. It was on sale. I thought about just trying it out, but I'm like, I'm not going to use this. So it's hard for me to... I thought it might be fun for my kid to play with. You know, for my kid to make music. But he'd rather like come in here with me and do it that way. All right. Come down here, get a job level. You can also try that tower in the castle. Maybe that. Oh, thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. Back attack. See, these guys don't hit for anything, and then they give like 2 XP when you're done. So. It's like you have to go kill something that gives you some XP. Guard a few times. There's a really pretty decent little free app if you've never really done music before, called Soundtrap. That is pretty easy to use. It's like a little DAW you could use on your phone or on like a Chromebook. I used to have my students work with it. You can try that out if you just don't have a lot of experience with music. It's a really good one to use. Really easy to get into. I've actually made some really extreme like noise music on it, just to demo like the crazy stuff you could do with it if you know what you're doing. Somewhere on my channel. Let me see if I can. I'll bring one up and you guys can hear it real quick. If you had to live in another state, which would you choose? Probably Texas, because I'm from Texas and I have family there and I like it. You know, otherwise, like Hawaii's got some great weather. Let's go search my channel. Your videos. I'll show you one that's really bizarre. All right, let's go. Here, real quickly, I'm going to turn this off so you can hear it. Hear what I'm talking about here. I'll give you the link too, in case anyone wants to hear it. This is made with a program called Soundtrap. And this was done several years ago with nothing but like the built-in loops. that are like built in and included with it for free. If you want to hear like some really extreme versions of what you can do. I don't know if you guys like drone music or not. So yeah, I wanted to make like a really extreme kind of drone sound for like a soundtrack. You know, something that you might hear like in a horror movie. I don't know. It's very postmodern. You know, sometimes I do postmodern stuff. That's how it is sometimes. Intended to be, I don't know, it's not like musique concrète, but I don't know, more in that direction. Here's what we'll do. We'll play some more games, but we'll turn the sound down. So we can hear this for a bit. Every time I disconnect the Vita, I have to kind of like reinitialize it in the software. Yeah, this is all built from built-in loops, by the way. Yes, more anime reviews are coming, but I haven't been able to do it because of everything that's been going on. Been writing a lot of checks lately, too, which sucks. We did not expect Oma to die. No one expected that when she went into the hospital for heart surgery. There's got to be a chapel here that I'm just like not seeing. Nothing happens. Maybe that would res my guy. I don't know. Yeah, this would be like background for a horror movie. Something like that. You can listen to it on your own if you want. I did another weird one in Soundtrap just to kind of show like how extreme you can make it. Yeah, we were all hoping she'd get better. And she was, I mean, she came out of the surgery fine. She talked to her for a couple days, and then she just got worse and worse. And basically ended up on life support. And there wasn't really anything else for us to do. All right, killed some coins. punch himself in the face. I mean, this music is technically atonal. It's not tonal music. If you mean like Schoenberg or Webern, yeah, it's not that either. But Box's job level increased. Clint gains a level. Woo! Clint's job level increased. We'll probably do one more. We're having to leave here. It's really loud. It's supposed to be loud. Sorry, I can turn it down a little bit. Some more stuff. Yeah, we could finally kill a guy. Couldn't make this kind of music without going insane. Yeah, I was thinking of like soundtrack music for like a sci-fi horror or something like that. That's kind of what I was going for here. I think there's a few more minutes. Actually, I could probably log in and bring up the actual like document. I think I use a free Soundtrap, so it's one of my saved documents. I can show y'all what I did here. It's a great thing to use to get into music. And if you want to get into music or production, it's a great place to start. The DS version of this game must be easier. I don't remember it being this hard, but I don't know. I think I might be skipping something I was supposed to do. Like maybe I was supposed to do the tower at the castle or something. And I just wasn't really thinking about it. Alright, everybody's getting job levels and levels. We can now probably kill 3 things before we leave this dungeon.
If you're trying to lose belly fat, stop doing cardio.
Oh, that's the perfect ending. If you're trying to lose belly fat, stop doing cardio. All right. So anyway, there's that. I'll listen to this music again. So yeah, that's the like extreme. You can actually do really crazy stuff with any DAW, but you just have to know what you're doing with it. Yeah, we're starting to hit hard enough to kill things. Look at that. Yes! Ouch! But we have no defense. Maybe buy more armor. That might help too. There we go. The horde fitness advice may have been the scariest bit of that music. And then what about the vocal fry? If you're doing cardio, you're probably not going to lose weight. It's like the worst advice you can give someone. You know, if you're trying to lose weight, you shouldn't exercise. What? Is that B-Shred's advice? Like, you shouldn't do cardio. Listen, like, you really can't out-exercise a bad diet, but cardio is good for you. It's not bad for you. Like, I don't know where this thing that's like, cardio is bad for you. It's like, well, how much cardio did, like, these super ripped bodybuilders do? And the answer is a lot. That's how they get freaking shredded, is they do cardio. You know? A lot of bodybuilders, when they're doing contest prep, are doing like 2 hours of cardio a day. I don't see like V-Shred doing 2 hours of cardio. What a bizarre advice. Come on, go through the door. There he goes. Weight loss comes from giving me money. Money. Let's see what we got here. Got some armor. Alright. Everyone's got leather armor. Another cap. Let's buy 3 bronze bracers. That might help us. Anything that does more damage than longsword? Not really. Alright. My brother lost 90 pounds in a year changing his diet and doing cardio. Cardio, well, it's not just that cardio can help you lose weight because you're increasing the amount of energy you use in a day, which is how you lose weight. You know, you take in less food than you use. But it's just good for you. Like, it's good for your heart. It's a general health thing. Like, why would you tell someone not to do cardio? It's bizarre. Did your ancestors not do cardio? My ancestors never did cardio except when they were out, you know, pillaging monasteries. And every day of their life. It's like your ancestors used to run down wildebeest until they died of exhaustion. That's what your ancestors did. I do submission wrestling 3 to 4 days a week. I also do low carb diet except the weekend. Wrestling is like very, very cardiovascular intensive. It's a very like high intensity. Yeah, it's very high. Wrestling's very high intensity, I think. Like, or jiu-jitsu. Like if you've ever practiced jiu-jitsu or something like that, it doesn't look as high intensity as it is, but because there's so much like muscle tension going on, it's exhausting. Boxing can be incredibly exhausting. I already said. Swimming, I think, is like probably, I mean, if you're gonna pick one cardio that's like the beast, it's probably swimming. Swimming is really hard. See how bad the enemies are in this tower. Holy arrow. Wooden arrow. I wonder what I do with these. Is there a bow? White Slayer, but it's a trap! It's a trap! Alright. Let's fight this guy. Thanks for drawing attention to PS Vita hacks. My Vita was sitting in a drawer disused for years, but as of yesterday, it's now filled with all the old games I enjoyed as a child. Yeah, I have like all my old retro games on here. Like you can run PS1 games, not completely natively. You have to use a piece of software to get it. You could also like get them off the PlayStation Store. Lots of ways to get your PS1 classics. You can play every Final Fantasy game 1 through 10 and 10-2 on a PS Vita. Pretty amazing. How much XP did we get? Not that much. Now see, these guys are totally like killable. Maybe I should be like grinding in this tower. There's a White Slayer dude. Ooh. We don't have a bow, so I don't think we can use the arrow. Let's see if there's any like more monsters. Here we go. Alright, these guys are probably like better to fight here. Do you know what horseshoe theory? Yeah. I think people are, I mean, horseshoe theory is an attempt to be like, well, it's not dichotomous, and that's true. Or that say, Nazism and international socialism, aka communism, are very close ideologically, and that's true. They're close ideologically in a lot of ways. Really, I mean, Nazism belongs on the left because of its collective ideology. It's just collectivized around ethnicity as one of those things, rather than just international proletariat revolt, which is what those are. But I think if you're going to talk ideologically, one of the things you have to realize is that dichotomies, it's really not about dichotomies. There's larger modes of thinking besides dichotomies. But all that being said, politics is dichotomous, and the main distinction between people is friend and enemy. Not socialist, capitalist, not individualist, collectivist. It's friend-enemy. Almost everything is around friend and enemy. So if you're doing friend-enemy, if you understand that it's friend and enemy, the main thing about horseshoe theory being bogus is that it doesn't matter that Nazis and communists are basically very similar. They're enemies because they are enemies, and that's all you really need to worry about. Most political action is about punishing enemies and rewarding friends. So I use gun control as an example. Gun control is a really perfect example. Gun control has never and will never move the needle on violent crime, nor is it designed to. Gun control is rather designed to inconvenience and punish Republicans, because Republicans are the enemy. Republicans own the guns, therefore it's good to punish them and inconvenience them. That's what gun control is designed to do. It's not designed to do anything else besides that. And it won't do anything else besides that. It's just there to impose taxes on Republicans who own guns and want to buy guns. So they have to pay taxes to buy the guns. They have to pay taxes to own the guns. They have to jump through a bunch of legal hoops to own the guns. Creates legal hazards for your enemies, Republicans, so that you can arrest them and put them in jail for doing nothing but, maybe failing to observe some bizarre, obscure law. They can be interpreted 20 different ways. It's just a way to punish Republicans. That's all gun control is, and it's all it ever will be. And that's virtually everything that the Democrats have done since Biden had taken office, is to try to punish enemies. Trying to make it so that, quote, twice impeached presidents. Technically, Donald Trump is not a twice impeached president because he wasn't president when he was impeached the second time. Right? Can't be buried at Arlington National Cemetery. This is purely to try to punish your enemies. It has nothing to do with any sort of political outcomes other than that. And it's very naked in that regard. I like the simpler political spectrum where extreme left is tyranny and extreme right is anarchy. Yeah, I mean, that's one way of looking at it. I mean, right is really God, King, and Country. And left is revolutionary. You know, that's really what you're looking at there. Who needs some health? Yeah, this is the tower is the place to grind right here. How do you think gun control is going to be seen now that many liberal cities have seen record gun sales? Do you think most of these guys are actually FUDs? Ooh. We got some funny little whites here. All the gun control measures will do is push home manufacturers of all the elements of firearms as more work is done to enable it and make it normally friendly. Yeah. Also, here's the thing. There's so many guns already. Like, let's say you said, no, we can make no more new guns. There's already 1 billion firearms, like, in the United States. They're not going away. That's why they like to act like they're going to go door to door and get all the guns. But the police wouldn't comply because that would mean death to most of them. Like, it would be a bloodbath of unbelievable proportions to try to take guns from people, at this point, at least. You'd have to get people way more domesticated, way more pacified, which is, you know, you could probably do it in a city. You couldn't do it in, you know, a small town, or like it would be a massacre. Police wouldn't do it. Like, they're not going to walk into a suicidal situation. It's like ordering them to go into, you know, I want you to go in this place that has a bunch of people lined up ready to kill you. And to do it over and over again all day. So like, I'm not going to do that. I quit. How do they get away with impeaching a private citizen? Because there's no one to say they can't. They can get away with whatever they want to do. Same thing with constitutionality. It's just a piece of paper. The Constitution has no power. Only people have power. So the Supreme Court has as much power as you pretend it has. Right? So if the Supreme Court makes a decision and everyone respects it, then they have the power. But if the government simply ignores the Supreme Court decision and does whatever they want, a la Obama era, then it doesn't matter. You know, you do realize that, like, most of our ideas of balance of power and stuff, this is purely something that's decided upon civilly. The Constitution has absolutely no power. It's just a freaking piece of paper. It doesn't even mean what it says it means. It means whatever 5 unelected black wizards say it means. Okay? The Constitution is a piece of paper. It only has the meaning that people give it. Big government good when I control it, bad when I don't. Simple as. Basically it. All we need is to expedite the creation of a grassroots blacksmith movement to prepare America for nightly combat. I would love more blacksmiths. I'd like to get into blacksmithing. I mean, I'll just say that I think it's something that I would like to do. I don't really have the space to do it at my current house. I had space at my last place. I thought about building a forge and making swords. I just think it's something cool to do. My dad was a gunsmith. I was raised under gunsmithing tutelage. It's like I want to take that one step further and, like, forge my own weapons rather than, like, smithing guns. Yeah, the judiciary is the weakest. It only has the power that you will it to give, and as much power as the other branches are willing to enforce upon it. If everyone just decided to ignore a Supreme Court decision, you'd figure out how little it means. You know, like, let's say the Supreme Court ruled that, like, Obamacare is unconstitutional. And then the government refused to do anything. They didn't change anything. The only thing that means is courts which respect the Supreme Court's decision will then, if you take something to court, they will then apply that precedent. But I think what we may see in the next decade or two is the death of precedent. I think death of precedent is something that has been on my mind lately. If you don't know what I mean by precedent, or if you're not from the United States, or you're not from a common law country like the United Kingdom or Australia, basically everywhere that England colonized, Canada, United States, Australia, New Zealand, we have common law systems, which are basically, I don't have time to get into it, but most of the legal decisions rest upon precedent set by other courts. Meaning a court makes a decision because there's no specific application of law, and then other courts basically follow that decision. And then it becomes law. In essence, it becomes part of common law. There's no law in the books for it, in other words. But I could see with the Supreme Court having contradictory, this party gets in power, it packs the courts with people that agree with it, and all of those decisions are now they ignore the previous precedent and try to form a new precedent. So then the court has a problem. Which precedent do we follow? Do we follow the precedent from 10 years ago or the precedent from 3 years ago? I don't know why I ran away there. I didn't mean to pick that. What's your dad's 2 favorite firearm types? I'm not sure what they were. Based on his very extensive collection, it was going to be bolt-action rifles and revolvers, maybe? I don't know. No, it's hard to say. The collection's pretty diverse. My dad wasn't a guy who collected like a lot of assault rifles or anything. And frankly, the reason was we just didn't have a lot of use for them. We had semi-automatic rifles and stuff. But what do you do with them? It's really a defense or it's a war firearm. We're hunting pigs and stuff. So most of our guns are shotguns. I'd say if you're picking one type of gun, like the type of gun I have more than anything of is a bolt-action rifle, and after that it's probably a shotgun. I got a lot of shotguns. In fact, for anyone that doesn't own any firearms, probably the best thing to start with is a 12-gauge shotgun. There's a lot of reasons for that. You can hunt a wide variety of game with a 12-gauge shotgun. Not just birds. Obviously, you can fowl hunt, which is great. But you can also have buckshot and hunt a lot of medium-sized to large-sized game with that. As long as they're, you're doing it in a certain way. So you can even hunt coyotes with it. You could load slugs and hunt deer. You could even put a scope on it and shoot slugs. People have done that. In fact, I actually have a scope rail on one of my Ithacas. I don't have it handy, or I'd show it to you. Yeah, I put a scope mount on it, and I got a slug barrel, so I can pop my 12-gauge slugs in. And I don't have any glass on it, but I could put some glass on it. Go shoot that. The ammunition is very easy to reload. The equipment to reload it can be a little bit pricey, but it's pretty easy to get the hang of it once you know what you're doing. The ammunition is very cheap and plentiful. You could find it at every gun store in America. It's going to have 12-gauge shotgun shells available in a variety of sizes. Definitely birdshot in like 7 and 8. Definitely, you're probably going to find a lot of mid-size shot 4.5, heavy shot for waterfowl. They'll have buckshot and slugs in most cases. So you have all the types of ammunition that you would use too. What's cool about 12-gauge shotguns too, besides all that, I mentioned like if you're going to shoot silver bullets, if you're going to LARP and imagine werewolves or something, or if you want to cast a bullet of something other than lead, a 12-gauge shotgun will shoot it. You can get a rifled slug mold and just fire it out of a smoothbore barrel, and you're not going to destroy the gun at all. So you could fire slugs made out of steel if you wanted to, for some reason, or copper, or steel would be very difficult. You'd have to forge it because you can't really just like melt steel and put it in a mold. I don't know what other materials. Tungsten. You could make tungsten slugs if you want to. Bismuth. Bismuth slugs. I don't know why anyone would do that, but you could if you wanted to. You put rock salt in them. You hear, like, they do that in movies, but in reality, I wouldn't load things with rock salt. You can shoot rubber bullets out of them. Beanbags. You can beanbag rounds for less than lethal action if you want. Like what riot police use. They shoot beanbags out of them. The beanbags hurt. Hurt like hell. AR equals Armalite rifle. It's the company that made the original AR-10, AR-15. Are you familiar with Lance Wilnow? No. He's correctly predicted a lot of Trump over the years. He thinks God allowed the 2020 steal to teach Christians to stop being complacent. Maybe. There's many lessons to learn from this. I don't have a lot of lever actions. In fact, I don't think I have any now. I used to have some. I think I gave one away to an uncle, I think, after my dad died. I kind of want to get some more lever action rifles. You can get lever action rifles in like really ridiculously big, like 4570. And you can hand load 4570. If you get like a modern Marlin, it can handle hot 4570. 4570 is an elephant gun at that point. It's a great elk gun, but you could kill elephants with that quite easily, which is cool. You know, if you pick one kind of shotgun, any kind of pump action shotgun's good. Pump action because it's very easy to operate, low maintenance, low operating failure rates, which is different from, say, automatics. I have a lot of automatics, but, you know, automatics aren't always going to function with 100% success rate, whereas, like, I don't know, you load something, it doesn't fire, you just rack that pump and you're good to go again. I like my Ithacas because they're call them slam action. The firing pin will fire as soon as you throw the foregrip forward. As soon as you throw the pump forward, the firing pin will fire as long as you hold down the trigger. Should do like some Odyssey and BitChute exclusive stuff on guns. That might be fun. I do not own any Glocks, actually. I've never liked Glocks. Just not. They're good guns. I don't like shooting them. They feel awkward in my hands. I don't like them. Let me find. Where is it? If you want to follow me on Odyssey, it's over here. I think we're finally getting high enough levels. I need to get everyone over like 100 HP, I think. What are we at? Yeah, we're over 100, so we're probably there. I'm going to grind a little bit more here. Yeah, YouTube does not like guns. I mean, I could get this stream demonetized real quick right now, but maybe I won't. Maybe we'll save that for Odyssey. I don't know if I can stream to Odyssey. It might be fun if I could stream to them, but I haven't really figured that out. Yeah, just give some advice for like if you don't own a gun yet, you should own one. A 12 gauge shotgun's a really good one, first one to buy. If you really want a handgun, there's many options. When I was in high school, I had this crazy idea that I was going to move to the Ukraine and become a blacksmith. Last year's hammered into me that it's the police at the end of the day that will do what the government says, even if it would end poorly for them. It depends on which police. There's a lot of police that aren't that way. But it's the rural-urban dichotomy. Once you get out into the rural environment, it's a different world. Extreme gun control will just bring back the grease gun made with steel pipes and homemade ammo. You're not going to be able to get all the guns anyway. You won't even need to go to that length, but you're right. If you took away all guns, people already have the capacity to make one within a couple days, including the powder. I could make a black powder rifle, no problem. You can make black powder at home. What do you need to make black powder, David? Well, you need charcoal. Well, that's easy to make. You could get that from the store, or you can make it yourself by, burning wood. They had it on Star Trek. It's like you need charcoal, you need, like sulfur, and you need saltpeter. So how do you make saltpeter? Really easy way to do it, guys. You want to know how to make saltpeter? Go get some straw from the store and pee on it. Pee on it every day. Whenever you have to go pee, make a big pile of straw in a bucket and pee on it. And when it dries out, it's going to be covered with saltpeter, which is basically it's the chemical. It's basically nitrogen. You can use it as fertilizer, but it's going to be your oxygen source when you make your black powder. And you can experiment with different proportions of that. But that's how they made black powder, guys. They made it out of horse piss. And it's just how it is. You got the saltpeter out of the stable originally, before you figured out how to make it in a variety of other ways. So you can make it out of your pee-pee. So as long as they're not confiscating your pee-pee and your wood, you can make black powder. How do you cast your own bullets? Again, not hard. Urea, yeah, it's pee-pee. It's why it's called saltpeter, because it's the salt of your pee-pee. It's the salt made out of dried pee-pee. So you dry your pee-pee over and over again, and the salt that comes out of it, that is saltpeter. So peeing on straw just makes it dry out easier, and you can just grind up the straw or pull it off the straw, versus putting it in a bucket, which gets gross. You're really towing the line with this discussion. Yeah. So you can make a black powder rifle. Oh, but the police, they have, or the government has these assault rifles. Hey, the Taliban beat the Russians with rifles from World War I. I can only shoot one shot with my black powder rifle. If it's a well-placed shot, it's enough. You could also make a cannon. Just scale up what you're doing. Plenty of steel pipes that you could turn into a cannon. You just need a lot of powder to do it. Pew-pews can be made out of pee-pees. Salt from your dried pee-pee. That's right. Made out of horse pee. Cowboy action shooters as a group are well accustomed to making hand-loaded ammo. Yeah, I had a couple friends who were really into historic firing, like stuff from the 18th century. You have to cast your own bullets. You got to mix tin and lead together for the most part. And that's how you're going to get it, get like the right mixture of stuff. All right. Level 30 freelancer. Level 20. All right, I think we might be approaching the high enough level to do the dungeon. Khyber Pass copy, folks. Look them up. That's how Soviets in the U.S. got beat. Yeah, I mean, old gen warfare, like, I don't remember who I was talking to a couple vets about this, that, like, tanks in Afghanistan were basically useless because they required a long chain of support that you couldn't keep up. Whereas the enemy didn't have to deal with any of that. It's like tanks are good against other tanks and other traditional armies, but they're not really that useful in 4th generation warfare. You could melt little toy soldiers. Yes, you could. If they're made of tin and lead, if they're made of pewter, you could turn them into bullets and they will fire fine certainly out of a smoothbore gun, which if you're making your own guns, you're going to want to make smoothbore unless you're really have the tooling set up to do rifling. And because as soon as you introduce rifling, you have to use softer ammunition. Because the bullets being forced through the rifling to get that twist and it cuts grooves into the bullet and elongates the bullet. So you really are not going to want to do rifling unless you have the correct kind of bullet setup. You want my piss, government? Come take it. Come take my piss. See what happens. I legit saw a bolt-action AK from Afghanistan. They're nothing if not invented. Yeah, you'll figure it out. I mean, they beat the Russians with the 303. And 303 is nothing to turn your nose up at, man. It's a snot knocking round. Yeah, you could melt down. There's lots of things that you could turn into ammunition. The main thing is it's probably easier, like, let's say that they managed to get all the guns. You'd have an easier time stealing their ammunition and using it against them. In which case, a lot of the things from World War II where it's like, you use this size pipe, you could put a 45 round in it, and you could pull this thing and it'll fire once. Useful. If you have someone in the right position, you really only need one round. Now, I have a 50 caliber black powder rifle. 50 caliber... A single shot, I have a 50 caliber black powder rifle. And that's not considered huge. If you go back to like the 18th century, there's like 80, 90 caliber smoothbore muskets and rifles. 80 caliber is going to put a freaking big hole in you guys. Nowadays, we're used to like, oh, you know, my AR is 5.56. It's like we're talking way more power in your black powder rifle. You're only firing one at a time, so it's no big deal. And you're also shooting black powder, which is slower burning, so there's actually less recoil. But yeah, man, you can go down and get a 50 caliber black powder rifle with no waiting period because it's a muzzle loader. Get some of those Sabo rounds from Cabela's. Pirate X pellets. Boop, boop, boop. Put 3 of those in there. Put in your Sabo round. You got a big game rifle right there. I don't know if you could cast a magnesium bullet. I don't know if you could do that. I was figuring out how one could use plasma as a deadly projectile, and it's not so much if it can be used as a deadly projectile. It's like, what's the edge in doing so? Well, what are you doing when you fire a bullet into something? You're randomizing part of it, right? And so the more impact force it has, the greater area it's randomizing. And you can't live through the randomization, so you're just randomizing material. So plasma has a lot of energy. It can randomize a lot of material. The question is, how do you get it from here to there? How do you have plasma here that's not randomizing you and get it to someone else so that they're randomized? Well, it's actually better to store the energy and make the plasma in front of you. I actually had this in one of my sci-fi novels. So you have the energy and then you make plasma out of the air, basically with like, figure out a way to like arc an extreme amount of energy through the air and you'll be just turning someone into plasma, you know. Yeah, black powder cap and ball revolvers work fine. That's six shots. You could also get something like a Sharps repeater. Or any variation thereof. My guys are almost dead. We need to go sleep in an inn. I think there's a bed to sleep in the castle, so we'll go do that. What do you think about electromagnetic railguns? I don't know enough about them, like from an engineering standpoint, to comment much. I had a friend who's an engineer and he thinks they're cool, but the problem is really that like a propellant with a projectile is a much simpler and therefore more robust system. It requires less precision. In other words, like all the pieces of an electromagnetic railgun have to be functioning really within very strict tolerances for it to work. Whereas, like a gun, you're put fire here, gas expand, projectile go forward. Like it's actually pretty simple how a gun works. This is why I always find it funny with stuff like Dresden Files. Like, automatics don't work because they're too complicated. I'm like, they're really not complicated. It's like springs and things exploding. It's a controlled explosion, that's all. You know, it's really not that complicated. So yeah, it's reliability becomes a thing, right? Like a sword is more reliable than a gun, but guns are pretty reliable. I think I could just sleep in this bed. Easy peasy. Railguns are neat, but they need a lot of energy, and the EMP is difficult to shield against. That's why the USN is having trouble putting one on a ship. Yeah, I've heard things like that too. You know, think about think about how fouled up a gun can get before it stops functioning. Because you have this magnet chain, there's just a whole lot more that can go wrong. And so therefore it's a less robust weapon system. And once you can get all that worked out, it's probably great. I mean, it could fire in a vacuum, so it might be a good space weapon. You know, guns can fire in a vacuum too, or underwater, believe it or not, because the propellant has oxygen in it. I don't remember if there was anything in this tower. Or if I went up to the top already. Even if we leave Afghanistan, it'll just collapse back into feuding tribes. Holy arrow? Wooden arrow. Yeah, I think the idea of the nation state as the thing that everyone should be in a nation state is kind of doesn't really make sense. There's a bow. Maybe give Vox the bow. Bow and arrow. And put him in the back. If you heard about the government's directed energy weapons, they have some that can make you spasm, feel intense heat, or hear voices. What? I haven't heard of that. Trogbang Tuvrox make fire is in a tube. Not really that high tech. Yeah, anyway, the point of the nation state, like, the idea that everybody should be in a nation state, doesn't make a lot of sense. Oh, I guess we can rest here. Everyone should learn to use a sling. They're easy to acquire. They are. I think city-states do make more sense. And I think what you're looking at in California is two city-states. You have Los Angeles, a megacity that controls half of the state. And then you have the San Francisco megacity, which controls the other half. And basically controls the countryside and gets all the resources from the countryside for its survival. And uses like threat of force to keep things in line. Which is why you have, say, Kern County. All of the water in Kern County gets piped over the Grapevine into LA. Kern County gets to keep none of its own water, even though it has enough water to do all the farming. Instead, it has to buy water from further north. It's more expensive to have water in Kern County than it is in LA, even though LA has none of its own water and steals it all from Kern County. It pipes it over the mountains into Kern County. LA also steals its water from the Mono Lake Basin, and this causes massive environmental problems over there, including it almost made several species of brine shrimp and harmed the seagull population, because that's where they mate. Because they stole all the water from the Mammoth area. And the Bay Area does the same thing, steals all the water from the Sacramento River Valley, and then we have to pipe it all down to the southern part. It all goes south to LA, because that's the mega city. All right, take it easy. Take it easy, Jared. Let's go ahead and save this game. See if we have enough like levels to actually get through this dungeon now. Yeah, anyway, that's kind of what we got here. Like the city dominates the country. The city can't live without the country, though. Just like Rome had to import all of its own food. It couldn't make its own food, even in the outlying areas. You know, so if there's some conflict between city and country, it's like country's pretty robust, city not so much. Whoa! Yeah, I think we're ready for this dungeon finally. Have you played Monster Hunter games? I love Monster Hunter games. Paul W.S. Anderson's movie adaptation came out recently. I'm not watching the movie adaptation. I'm not going to do it. What's really cool is you can play Monster Hunter 3 on the Wii U. Like 3 players. Weird. You could have one player play on the gamepad, one player play on the TV, and you can have one player play on a 3DS. It's like ad hoc Wi-Fi connected. Wild. I just think that's cool. Ooh, a treasure chest. Cool. Money. Money, money, money. Ooh, a skull. Oh, coins! Is California too far gone or not? Well, on some level, even if it's completely gone, the problem is the solution. Which is that, you know, what can't go on won't go on. And the immigrants will go home because they can't get benefits anymore. They don't really want to live here. Most of them get money and then go home to Mexico anyway. So the immigrants that ruin the electoral system here will go home. They ruin the electoral system a couple ways. First of all, illegals vote, which they freely admit to, by the way. Ooh, a skull. Whoa! Secret passage. Then they also screw up the census data so that because they count as full people, not 3/5 of a person, you have a representative that's there to represent immigrants, which have no say in government, which disproportionately increases the power of people who are citizens in that same area. So you may have areas that have a representative in, say, LA, where some very small portion of citizens wield much more power than other people because most of the people in that area cannot legally vote. So if they were adhering to the law, which a lot of them aren't, but if they were, then the people who remain in that area are way overrepresented. Like they have their vote literally means more than everybody else's vote because they have a representative for smaller people. It's the same thing with like slave owners in the South, let's say. So slave owners in the South, the reason they had the 3/5 compromise was not because they wanted to look at black people as 3/5 of a person, but rather because the census data would give disproportionate power to slave owners. And you may have a district where most of the people that live there are slaves, but they don't vote. But the slave owners do vote, but they get, so basically you have one representative representing just a small number of white slave owners who vote. You basically have this in America with immigrant areas of LA, where there's a representative of like East LA that there's virtually no citizens that elect that person. You know, that person basically is only beholden to a small number of people. So the people that are there voting for that representative, it's the equivalent of white slave owners in the South prior to the Civil War. They basically get more power for their vote. Their vote means more than somebody who lives in an entirely white area. That's how it is. There's something wrong about people coming here, benefiting, then returning to their home country with the spoils. That's what they do. They give remittances too. They send U.S. cash over to Mexico. Milady, you must hurry back to the castle. We will take care of the rest here. But before you go, we need to borrow your mithril ring. There is no need. I will go with you. I have come here to banish the djinn and save my people, just like you. Her Royal Highness has spoken. What should we do? She should be all right as long as Clint looks after her. No harm will come to Lady Sarah as long as I live and breathe. Thank you, everyone. Imagine walking around in a dress like that as a woman. Imagine being a princess and like that's what princesses wear. I know that these are basically like chibi figures, but you can imagine like what an actual woman would look like wearing that dress. Be like, I can't believe you went to a dungeon wearing that. Oh, before I forget, press the square button whenever you wish to speak with me. Now let's hurry. Never played the Monster Hunter games, but I thought the movie was pretty good in a dumb kind of fun kind of way. The movie's basically not the games at all. The games are really cool. Let's talk to her. Let me chat this girl up. Oh, I should tell you about saving. Saving means taking record of your adventures, but remember you can only save when you are out in the world map. Thank you. I've already had several game overs. Alright, down we go. Deeper into the dungeon. But Clint, we all died 10 minutes ago. Oh, I forgot I can like zoom in and out here. And like find little hidden things. See? See if there's something hidden up here. I do like the lower encounter rate of this game. I do actually appreciate that. Wow. And my dudes are hitting hard now. Sweet. We should equip the holy arrow. I don't know how much, let's see how many holy arrows I have. 40 holy arrows. Let's equip the holy arrows. For now. I think they'll do a lot of damage. Save us some time. Okay. Preemptive strike, yes. I got a Lord of the Rings record by Bo Hansen. I think you would enjoy it more than me, though. Do you have a fan mail P.O. box or something? Yeah, there's a P.O. box. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I almost never check it, though. You know, I just use it as a mailing address, so just to keep, basically, because I have gotten death threats in the past, I don't like to have my home address just, like, floating around too much. I don't think those death threats are super serious, but, you know, I have a family. Most of that's from Star Wars fans, so they're not really equipped to hurt me anyway, but, you know. That was when Force Awakens came out. I actually got death threats for saying it sucked. That was my first wake-up call to, like, I don't think this fandom is healthy. Prepare to meet your doom, Jen. This ring will banish you once and for all. Uh-oh. Nothing's happening, but why? Your bubble has no power over me now that I am infused with the power of darkness. Uh-oh. We're gonna have to fight him. Ooh, look at him. I have you covered. Arrow. Sweet. She's helping me out. Have you read John C. Wright's tongue-in-cheek blog articles about the rules regarding space princesses? No, I haven't. I wanted them to have a bare midriff. Ouch. There we go. Let's go potion. Heal yourself. Hey, Paladin, why didn't you DI yourself? Ouch. Oh, no! There we go. Lydia, no! She got no XP. You cannot escape the ring's power now. No! Uh-oh. Hey, what's going on? You must return to the castle, milady. Do not fear for us. We will be fine. What is happening? Clint! What is happening? Uh-oh. I know, that's an old joke, Arc 5. It's like, the Paladin's dead and the Raidler is like, Paladin, why didn't you DI yourself? Just no one really pays attention in a wipe to realize that DI kills the Paladin. Paladins used to do it to avoid taking durability, because you didn't take durability. So you'd, like, DI a hunter. Like, whoever was alive, you'd DI him. Okay, the hunter's feigned death, but he's alive. DI. I recognize this place. It's the cave with the crystal. Yeah, the hardcore nerds who obsess over corporate franchise, it's not a healthy thing to aspire towards. Even if they hate SJWs, real winning is walking away. I agree. It's creating something great from your own heart, to me, too. If you have that creative impulse, like, follow it to create something of your own. Don't just hope for somebody to make something that you want to exist. Be the change. You know, support those, step outside the box, find things that are good, and if you can't find what you want, make it. You four have been chosen to be the warriors of light, the bringers of hope. You must take with you the last of my light and the last of our world's hope. Unless you act, the light will be lost and the equilibrium forever broken. Once you take in the light, you will be able to extract the power from the other crystals. Do you know of any ways to do very low budget 2D animation, like well-drawn characters but not fully animated? I think I know of some, but I haven't done them. So, Scott Kurtz, the guy who does PvP, and another web cartoonist named Chris Straub did these semi-animated shorts called Blamimations years ago that they made with, like, some version of Adobe software that was, like, really meant to make Flash videos. Here we go. Listen to the music. You get these credits, just like in the original. I love it. I'm thirsty and out of drink here. I know Adobe has software that you could use for that. Nobuo Uematsu. Bum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum bum bum. Big Bang Theory cleared much of the ground for the current state of nerd culture. Big Bang Theory really is like... It's kind of funny that people are like, oh, nerd culture is cool now. I'm like, I don't know if you saw the Big Bang Theory, but it's real about making fun of nerds. They're not on the side of the nerds. Have you ever read James Harriet's All Creatures Great and Small? Yes, I have, but it's been many years. I have it on the bookshelf. I was going to read it with my kids. When the four were bathed in light... I should have read that. Oh, well. You must drive the darkness from this world and restore light to its rightful place. You are our last hope. I came to the realization Big Bang Theory was just another rom-com. After the people in my compartment were playing it loudly for hours at a time. Yeah. I agree. My wife really likes it, but she likes it because it's funny. Like, it does have jokes in it. You know. It's really about making fun of nerds. It's a lot more fun if you realize that it's making fun of nerds. The nerds are really kind of the bad guys. You've been blessed with the crystal's light. A lot of people don't like it because it makes fun of nerd culture, but you know. Now go, step on the shining circle behind this altar to return to the surface. Embrace your destiny, warriors of the light. And it does make fun of it. That's the reality. It's not like it inspired some people to be fake nerds and fake geeks. It's like, guys, you don't want to act like the people on this show. These people are autistic and annoying, you know. You want to be normal. Really, what they got wrong is that nerd culture is full of normal people. Congratulations, Kupo. You can now change jobs. You can access job-specific abilities by changing jobs, Kupo. Be careful, though. You won't be automatically proficient in each job, Kupo. Kupo! You need to practice each new job to maximize its potential, Kupo. Try it out. Good luck, Kupo. Oh, we can change jobs. Warrior, white mage, sweet. Warrior. Ooh. Job adjustment phase, 2 battles. Let's get out on the map before we do that. Alright. Can we leave? This way? Let's find out. I think I already went this way. I have a map. What are your thoughts on the theory that some celebrities, especially pop stars, are MK Ultra mind control victims? I think it's a fun idea. I think a lot of pop stars are just abuse victims. This, you know, not necessarily. Oh, I think I can walk around the crystal. What am I doing? Yeah, I think a lot of them are just abuse victims, especially if they became pop stars at a young age. Consumerism, yeah. Thank you for the $5, Kaku. You don't squeeze triggers. You squeeze lemons and... Yeah, but it's one of my dad's sayings. You pull triggers. You squeeze lemons, you squeeze titties, you pull triggers. Something my dad said as an instructor, as a rifle instructor. Something that kind of stayed with me. You know. Kupo. Welcome to Mognet. Our service lets you read letters from the people you've previously met. To Papa, how are you? Mel, Vox, how you fare? How fare you? Is just not the same without you two. Everyone here misses you, and we all pray for your safe return. Alright. Don't forget to talk to Mog when you see him in town, Kupo. He might have a letter for you from a friend or loved one. Let's stay at the inn. First of all, is our... No, she got resurrected. Sweet. Sweet. I think we're full. I'm gonna go ahead and save here, and then we'll call it. We got through the first dungeon, guys. I figured out I was supposed to do that tower and level up a little bit in the tower. I just didn't realize. Do you know anything about the Texas State Guard? I don't. I can't help you. Someone else who knows about the Texas Guard can help you. I know George W. Bush was in it, and people are like, he draft dodged Vietnam by being in the Texas Guard. And it's like, this is the guy who was president after Clinton. It'll involve in the spanking. How to explain Hollywood and DC? Wicked people breed a wicked culture. That goes back to the dawn of civilization. No conspiracy needed. I agree with you. I think I agree with you. Yeah, a lot of times we don't need conspiracies. Just like people are bad. So, anyway, I'm probably going to call it there. I do appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with me. Let me see if I can find another weird thing of music to let you hear. What was the other one I did? I did another one with this bizarre sound to it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Your videos. What was the other one called? I don't remember what the other one was called. I had another one that had like a bunch of really weird stuff in it too. Trying to find a... Let's show all. Nope, I don't know where it is. Yeah, I have another one that's really weird too. Oh well, I don't know where it is. It's around somewhere. If it's a related one. When did this come out? 2016. Wow, that's old, man. That's like old. 2016. Put it in just. It's not there. All right, I'll just play some different music. All right, I appreciate it, guys. Hope you guys will have a good day. And that's what's up. Let's play some more music. We'll play this music. This is good stuff. Here we go. All right. All right, I appreciate it. You can find more at dvspress.com. And of course, you can find me on Odyssey. I'll link the Odyssey channel. I'll try to maybe come up with some exclusives for BitChute and Odyssey. Like, I don't know. I don't have like a lot of gun content to do. Like I could do, I don't know what I could do that would be like niche other than, you know, what I recommend for newbies, or like how to take down your 45 in a better way than what the manual says, or something like that. I don't know. Like what kind of how to reload. I don't know what else to put in it. So anyway, take it easy, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.